they talked about a lot of things, and those announcements that came out afterwards, obviously there's some things that Trump and Putin want people to focus on, others that not so much. What struck you?
I think a couple of things. I think the headlines are sometimes deceiving. It's very easy to go into a meeting and say, Mr. Putin, I want to complain about the hacking, and then very quickly move on to other business. And to be fair to Trump, every president has done that with Putin. You go in and complain about things, and then you go on to the stuff that he wants to talk about. And the Syria deal, it's easy to downplay. The last ceasefire we had lasted, I think, about a day before it went wrong. But I think the main thing is it went on a long time. And that's something, you know, there is at least some bond there. From the Russian point of view, I think it's interesting. The Russians will probably think they got broadly what they wanted. They got treated as a peer. Putin sort of looked, but the whole point of Putin's drive is to make Russia great again.
Yes.
Well, being seen as somebody who matters to Donald Trump is a big deal to Vladimir Putin.
I suppose one thing we should add as well, John Negroponte mentioned this earlier, which is it may have been 2 hours, Julia, but there were translators involved, so actually it was probably an hour of conversation.
But even given the situation that we've had in the run-up to this and the concerns domestically here in the United States, the fact that they spoke for 1 hour or 2 hours, whatever it is, for the Russians here appears to be a huge win. Foreign Minister Lavrov came out and said Trump has accepted Putin's assurance of no election hacking. My other favourite headline here was that there's going to be a bilateral cyber working group between the United States and Russia.
Two people desperately trying. It's a bit like Al Capone and the Corleone family agreeing a brief thing, because both sides are obviously trying to do cyber warfare against each other to some extent. I do think you look at these things, and they are partly about the sort of long-term gains to be had by both sides. And on Putin's side, it's interesting. You know, he wants to be seen as an equal. He wants to be part of the conversation. All these things are coming his way, and so I think on the whole, from that perspective, it was probably more broadly helpful to him than Trump.